Hi, I'm Mike, and in this short video series, I'll be talking about behind the scenes of The Vanishing of Vivienne Cameron, the latest podcast from Casefile Presents, which I co-produced. The Vanishing of Vivienne Cameron is the latest podcast from Casefile Presents. Vikki Petraitis co-wrote the book The Phillip Island Murder with journalist Paul Daley. The story that captivated Vikki from the first time she heard of it has had a similar effect on the people worldwide. Long after the book went out of print, people would stumble upon it in the second-hand stores and then contact Vikki. The interest has never really died down. The Phillip Island Murder was featured on an episode Sensing Murder in 2005 and then became Case 80 Beth Barnard on Casefile in 2018. Casefile Presents asked Vikki to explore the case in a long-form series. The podcast is available now exclusively on Spotify, so check it out. Links in the description below. Hi, Mike here from Casefile and Casefile Presents. On this channel we're releasing videos on audio, podcasting and what's like to be a podcast producer, so if you enjoy the content, hit subscribe and notification buttons. Welcome to the new studio. We've recently moved house and I was lucky enough to be able to set up one of the rooms the way I wanted and created this little podcast production studio. At the moment we are working on two videos, one sort of like behind the scenes of building what's around me, and the other will be more in-depth tour of the studio, but that's coming soon. First, let's get to the last video of this series of behind the scenes. The Vanishing of Vivienne Cameron podcast was our first show created in partnership with Spotify, and that meant that the podcast would be released for free on Spotify on the exact date, all episodes all at once. Now, Paulina, Casefile designer, and my wife worked with Vikki Petraitis, the creator of the show, on the artwork, on the logos, and just, the visual aspects of the podcast. Paulina came up with several mock-ups, and they've decided on the final one. And the final look, the final artwork looked absolutely amazing and everyone loved it. After that, Vikki came up with the names for each episode, and from that, Paulina could create thumbnails that I then included in episodes metadata. For metadata, I used a little program called Tag Editor, and it's available for free on macOS. I'm not sure if it's available on PC, on Windows. And in the past, I used to use iTunes. However, with new macOS, they split iTunes in two apps called Music and Podcast. And now it's a little bit more difficult, at least it was for me, to create these, that metadata for audio files. And to be honest, Tag Editor works much better anyway. I should have used it ages ago, because it doesn't actually create copies of audio files. As far as the marketing goes, Casefile Presents and Spotify had several amazing ideas, and that ranged from RSS drops, trailers, newsletter blasts, social media campaigns, and just general advertising. On my side, I worked on two audio trailers, one 30 seconds long and one 2 minutes long, which I've built from my music and selected lines. We've also created an RSS drop that was to be featured on Casefile feed. And for the time being, we've removed the original Case 80 from Casefile back catalog, and that was because of different reasons. Now, instead of completely removing that episode, I had an idea of replacing it with explanation why the episode's gone and call to action to the Vanishing of Vivienne Cameron series. So we've done just that. The release was set to be on 12th of November 2020, and that was Thursday. So from the beginning of the week, we were releasing various teasers and snippets, on social media and various channels. Then Paulina and we've uploaded the entire series to Megaphone hosting and set it to be released on 1 a.m. 12th of November Sydney time. And that meant 3 in the afternoon on the 11th of November in the UK. And it was great. It was really convenient because, Pauline and I, we are here in the UK, so we could monitor the release and then check if everything works well. We wanted to stagger marketing to be able to continuously share the show with the listeners. Also, at the end of each year, just before we go on a short break, we usually publish sort of end of the year message from Casefile team to the listeners, and within that message there would be another sort of call to action to Vanishing of Vivienne Cameron podcast. On their site, Spotify, they've done news outlets, promos, they've done TV ads, as well as ads on other podcasts. So the whole marketing, the whole release was really a team effort. It was our first show in partnership with Spotify, and it was a great opportunity to learn from their team. Of course, the more people are involved in any kind of a project, the more challenging it is to get everything working well, but on this project the outcome was fantastic. Now, as far as production go, I mentioned it earlier, but for this project, for the Vanishing of Vivienne Cameron, I sort of left outside of my production the usual feedback loop that I do. Just to remind you, is what it is that I share with the creators, with the team, the files, the audio files at every stage of my production, so everyone can review and give their notes. Now, with Vanishing of Vivienne, I didn't do that. I actually done it all, and only after my first premixes I sent the files for the review. Now, fortunately, everyone liked that, and there wasn't any major changes, but now I can see it was purely down to luck, because it could easily go the other way. And that meant if there was big changes, or if they say, well, I don't like the music, I don't like the production, it would create a massive headache for me, going so far back in my production process. I realized it's not a great strategy moving forward, so for the next project I reversed to what I usually do, my kind of normal feedback loop. And it's not about doubting my own skills or anything like that, but in this kind of a project, there are so many things that could go wrong that it's just better to have that constant communication with the team and just, ask questions. But overall, that has been a fantastic project. I really enjoyed working on it, and I think the outcome was, better than anyone expected, and I hope the listeners feel the same. And don't worry, we have more projects in works with Vikki Petraitis, so stay tuned. For now, you can check the podcast, The Vanishing of Vivienne Cameron, free on Spotify, so don't forget to subscribe, to share, leave your review. But that's it for today. Thanks for listening. I'm Mike from Mike Migas Production. If you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed the content, check the rest of my channel, as well as my website, mikemigas.com. For now, share, like, or subscribe, and I'll see you later.